Let me show you how to create this beautiful and simple single garter stitch. So to create the single garter stitch, it's simply one row of knits and then one row of purls, and then you alternate that. Now you can alternate it through your entire blanket, or you can do small sections of it like I have in this blanket that I am currently making. But you simply create your first row of knits like you normally do. This is the basic knit stitch. So once you completed an entire row of knits, now we're going to do the purl. So a purl is simply your yarn coming in front of your loop instead of behind. So you're just pushing that yarn through the front of your loop like you see me doing here. So you'll do an entire row of purl stitches like this. And this is what's creating that beautiful single garter stitch look. So again, a purl stitch is a stitch that you will often see in various different types of stitches throughout hand knit chunky blanket making and different types of stitches. And it's just simply putting the yarn through the front of the loop. So if you can do a purl stitch, there's a ton of different stitches that you can also learn that incorporate this specific purl stitch. So once you do an entire row of purl stitches like you see me completing here, then you're going to alternate that and go back to a single row of your basic knit stitch, which you can see me doing here. So just be patient and take your time when it comes to knitting those purl stitches. Sometimes they get lost a little bit, so make sure that you're counting your stitches as you're going back and forth. Always make sure you have the same number of stitches as you did when you first began. So if you're doing a blanket with 30 loops, then you should obviously have 30 stitches. I always like to count my stitches periodically to make sure that I didn't skip a loop, especially when incorporating this purl stitch into any type of pattern or blanket that you're making. So again, once I'm finished with my row of purls, now I'm going to go back and do a row of knits again. So it's one row of knit, one row of purl, one row of knit, one row of purls. And obviously you can continue this pattern through your entire blanket, or like I'm doing with this specific pattern, I did 6 rows of a garter stitch and then 6 rows of a basic knit stitch.